All right, so today we are going to discuss the basics. Of course, let's see. We're going to go over the basics and we're going to go over a few other things. And this is just so you have a complete understanding of what the market is, what it consists of, what to look for. It's not always easy to find these things, but if you keep on trying and you keep on practicing, and you continue to look for these patterns or these movements in the market, you'll see that it's behavioral and they'll be much more easier to identify. So a lot of people freak out with, hold on, y'all, someone's trying to join. They freak out with learning Forex and they get scared because they think that they have to be good at math, right? This really has nothing to do with math, with the exception of calculating your what's called lot size, which is like how much money you're gonna risk. Okay, we're not going to talk about that today because the goal is for you to understand how to trade. Once you understand how to trade and you have consistency and practice, the money is going to come. That's without a doubt. But we want to focus on the fundamentals so that you can be a strong trader. Now, obviously, I'm not going to include the information that's in my advanced course, but I promise you that with just these basics, you can do well. Okay. You just have to take it serious. And many of you have told me that you've watched my videos a few times and sometimes get embarrassed by saying that. That is the proper way to learn, is to sit there, watch videos several times if you have to, maybe pause it, go back, see if you can identify the same things that I'm talking about while the video is playing. Just do things like that so that you can become better. All right. So let's get straight to it. If you're in the free course, you know this. If not, I'm going to talk to you just like you're a newbie. But the market moves three ways, right? The market moves three ways, and that's it. The first way is going to be, well, one of the ways, excuse me, is going to be bullish. I don't know how to remove this little side piece, like this side layout. Anyway, is bullish, which means the market is going up. One way that you can remember what bullish means, and sometimes you'll see like a bull and a bear, right? Have you guys seen that before, where you'll see like a bull and a bear icon when you like Google Forex, or maybe somebody's logo has like a bull and a bear? That's basically just the market when it trends. So the market can trend bullish and it can trend bearish. A great way to remember what bullish is that it has a U in it, which indicates it's going up. Okay, so the market is going up. It's a great way to understand or not forget what that means. When the market's going up, what's happening here is it is creating higher lows and highs. All right. So this is a swing low. This is a swing high. Swing low, swing high, small little retracement. But the highs and lows right here are what that is. So this big move is actually one entire swing move. And then when it comes back down, that is a low that it's creating. Okay. So when you see that the market is creating higher highs and lows, that's an indication that the market is trending and it is going up. It is bullish. And you probably hear this a lot, where the trend is your friend. You hear a ton of traders telling you that the trend is your friend, the trend is your friend. They are 100% correct. The trend is your friend. You always want to trade with the trend. So what I mean by that is, and I'm on the daily. For those of you that are experienced, don't worry. Like, just please don't factor in the time frame. I just wanted things to look a little bit more clearly. So this means that every time the market comes down, these are the areas that you will essentially want to buy. So we buy when the market is bullish. So bullish has BU, buy has BU, and it has U to remember that it's going up. So you may have heard buy low, sell high. You always want to buy low. Okay. So whenever you're trading, whether it's stocks, currencies, metals, commodities, anything, you always want to buy at the lowest point possible. Okay. You don't ever want to feel like you're missing out on a move and you have to hurry up and jump in a trade. Okay. And let me explain this to you so it's a little bit easier to understand. Oh, you can't see my mouse if I do that. Never mind. Dang it. Okay. So this is like going shopping for a car. Okay. And The bottom is basically going to be when they're giving the best rates. What do they say? December is like the best year to buy a car, right? Like that's the myth. I don't know if it's a myth or it's true, but let's just say that's correct. So let's say this low right here, or this low, excuse me, right here is you buying in December. All right. So you want to get in at the best price. But let's say you hear everybody's buying, and you decide that you want to go ahead and buy right here. All right. Do you think, just by looking at this, is this a good place to buy?
No.
No, right? It's not a good place to buy. You guys, I do want interaction in my webinars, okay? You don't want to buy high. Do you want to pay $40,000 for a Hyundai Elantra, or do you want to pay $22,000 for a Hyundai Elantra or a Toyota Corolla or whatever? It doesn't matter. Do you want to pay this, or do you want to pay double the price?
The low price.
The low
You want to pay, exactly. You want to pay the low price. So if you don't know what you're doing and you decide to buy when price is up here, there's a couple things that you can do. Number one, your emotions are going to kick in. Your emotions of fear. Oh my gosh, you're starting to see red. You're freaking out. You don't know if you should hold the trade because it's got to go back up, right? You know, or if you should just cut your loss. So this is when emotions start kicking in, when we make poor decisions trading and when we don't exercise patience. So when this happens, you can either hold it and wait for it to hopefully come back down and go back up, right? Which would not be good. Or you can just be patient and wait for confirmation for the market to create a new low before it goes back up. Okay. And in the training, we talk about trend lines or market structure. And these are things that are going to help you identify lows and highs of the market. And again, this is in the free course. I'm not talking about the paid course. So whenever you're buying, you want to try to get in at the best price possible. And that is why we draw trend lines. Trend lines, if you've been with me and you've been trading with me, I tell you trend lines are 90% stronger than anything else, than any zone, any key level, any psychological level, any indicator, any of that, right? Trend lines, if you know how to draw them right, your trend line is going to help you a ton. All right, and we're going to get to retests, and I'll go over that and how to identify entries and price action. So we're going to go over that. But you always want to buy low, and it's when a ceiling becomes a floor. So what does that mean? Okay, whenever the market, like the highs, start to become the lows, okay, for when it's like steps. So like what you want is for this high right here, you want it to essentially get broken. You want the market to break that high and come back down and land on it, or just land, right, at a higher level. Because now we have the high here, we have a new high, we have a low here, and a higher low here. It's a small one, but we still have one. And I purposely did not include like a picture perfect one because I want this to be like reality. The market is not going to be perfect 24/7. So whenever you see highs being broken and the market landing on top and creating a new low, that's a really good sign. That's an indication that you're going to get one more wave. It's going to push up one more time. And this is where you're ideally going to look for an entry to buy. Okay, so bullish is buy. It means the market's going up. Any questions about this?
No.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you said bullish is buy and bearish is sell?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank
So
you.
one good way to think about bullish is that bullish has BU, buy has BU. Up has a U, bullish has a U. So that's just like a way, I don't know, that always works for me, that or making like songs. But if that helps you remember what that means, just think of that BU and that U, and you know you're going up.
Okay.
I can't do the same trick for bearish, unfortunately. So bearish means the market is going down, all right? Now this is going to be a little bit different. In this case, what we want to do is we want to get in at the top, right? We want to sell at the top. We want to make the most money off of our trades. We want to get in at the top. So it's the opposite. And I drew a trend line. If you're in the free course, We do go over how to draw trend lines to help you identify trend. And again, the trend is your friend. And whenever you have trades like this, where you have these confirmations of a trend, these are really good when you want to make money. Okay. They're really good. So I always try to see if I'm marking up a chart, if I can identify a trend. A trend is the most important thing. So bearish means it's going down. This means lower lows and lower highs are being formed and floors become ceilings. So what you're looking for are the lows to get broken. So you see here, this low right here, the market broke it, right? It broke it. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the lows to be broken. That's an indication that we'll get a continuation for the most part. So bearish is down. Most people understand down for some reason. I don't know. Is this easy for you guys to look at, just looking at this as a new person? Is it obvious that the candles are going down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Then there's sideways movement. All right. I don't like sideways movement personally. I don't like it unless it's a higher time frame like this, but for the most part, I don't like it. And basically what that means is there isn't enough momentum to basically put the market in a trend. And the trend are usually the most profitable type of trades. So we want to always try to see if we can find trades that have a trend so that we can win more. I mean, that's just what it is. Why would we sit there and look for something difficult when we can find something easy and make money without stressing? So
I
the
have a
sideways,
question. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
It was about the last slide. Okay, so I was on your team before, and my biggest problem was my trend lines, like drawing the trend lines. I never knew how far back to go and then where to start to put the trend line, if that makes sense as a question.
Yeah, I actually I would love when we go to the Q&A,
Okay.
I want to go back to that because we'll do some. Like I'll draw
Okay.
some for you.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because
Thank
that'll
you.
just be easier. Instead of showing you a picture, I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so when the market's moving sideways, this is also known as consolidation or ranging. So you may hear people call it different things. Some people have their own names for it. These are essentially the three that I use, which is sideways movement, ranging, or consolidation. Okay. This is typically not my favorite to trade, and I just express why, because the trend is just more high probability. But whenever you see these, this top area is called resistance. So this top part is like a ceiling. And whenever there is resistance and rejection towards that area, this is where you would sell. The bottom is called support. I'm trying to be appropriate because I would have said something else. But basically, it serves as a floor. Okay. So it's supporting, it's like bouncing a ball. This is the floor, and the basketball is just like it's bouncing on there. Okay. So most people will buy at the bottom and sell at the top. When you see this type of movement, I always look for it to essentially break out either from the top or the bottom. And this is something that I would discuss in a more advanced webinar or just a different webinar. But what we're looking for essentially is for the market to eventually break out either to the top or the bottom so that we can start to get a trend and have those higher probability trades. So have any of you traded yet, and have you experienced this consolidation? Are you comfortable trading it, or is it something that you just leave alone?
The only trading I've done has been on the demo account. I haven't created a live
Yeah, I
account
haven't
yet.
started training.
Oh, let me tell y'all something. There is nothing wrong with trading a demo account. You're supposed to be practicing in demo. There's nothing wrong with that. So like, even if you're trading in demo, the question is, when you're trading, do you trade when the market is moving like this, or are you looking for a trend? What are you most comfortable with?
A trend.
Okay.
Trend.
I'm just writing this down so when we get to the Q&A, if anyone has any questions, then I will. All right, yeah, hold on. Some people chatted and some people are trying to join. I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. Okay, so Tia says she leave alone, swing trades. Nice. I love swing traders. Haven't started, I leave it alone. I want big moves. Yes, yes. Okay. I like y'all. All right. I want big moves too. So do I have any I see I have swing traders. Is everyone here pretty much a swing and an intraday? If you don't know what that means, I have no problem going over it. But what is
Yes, please.
trading?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Okay. So a scalper is someone that gets in and out the markets really quick. They're going in for just a few pips. In order for them to make money, they definitely have to risk a lot more. Okay. It's something that I'm personally not fond of until you really understand the markets, because it does require some skill, and it can be very profitable. Intraday trader is someone that basically sees results within a few hours or within 24 hours. So they kind of go for like 20 to 50 pips, which is a movement in the market, like a measure. And then a swing trader is usually over 50 pips. For the most part, I would say 100 pips plus. So like I am personally a swing trader. I like to hold my trades for a couple days or a couple weeks, and then I'll do like mini trades within that trade so I can keep capitalizing off the win. That's just something that I do. So I'm really big on swing trading because I am a mom and I can't sit there and look at charts all day. So for me, finding really strong swing trades that I can just hold for a few days works out better for me.
Okay.
So do you know your trading style for those that have traded? Or you're not there yet? It's okay to say you're not there yet.
I have no
Not
idea.
there yet. Yeah. Yeah.
No
All right.
idea at all.
It's all good.
I just be trading.
No, oh my gosh. Okay, so you gotta have. Don't tell me that, girl. You're gonna make me lose.
I'm
my mind.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So you definitely should have a style. So Jimmy says, and Jimmy, he's a really good trader. If you guys, Jimmy, if you don't mind, I would love for you to put your Instagram on. He trades in dices. He's a good trader. Yeah, I feel like I'm leaning towards swing. Yeah, I'm definitely a swing trader. So he scalps and he intradays, which means that he goes real quick for a couple of moves, just real quick. And obviously that's going to be with the right confirmations. And then he also does intraday, where maybe it may take a few hours or 24 hours for his trade to play out. And it could either play out the way he wants it, or it could play out the other way. Okay. But that's what that means. So my test says she's been scalping and intradaying. She wants to get into swing, especially as she gets back into work. Okay. Intraday swing just happened. I have to figure a style. So yeah, you definitely want to figure out your style. So one thing I do want to recommend is you should be journaling your trades. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but if you want to become a, 6, 7 figure trader, or even 5 figure trader, you want to document your trades and what style of trading you use for that particular trade, and see where do you have the most success. Is this with scalping? Is this with intraday? Is this with swinging? Or do you not like those two and you just want to go to swing trading? These are things that you definitely should document. Perfect. Who is the Queen Bree? Because you are just making me happy. You making me happy, girl. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you're journaling your trades. I know if you're my free course, there's a book that I recommend, and also FX book. You can connect your account. I don't know if you can connect the demo account, but you can connect your account in there to just see your progress as a trader. And it's kind of like a Carfax report, but for traders. So you can really see, like, look, I have too much, like I'm in the negative too long. I got to get better with my entries, or I'm having more losses, or it really just allows you to see how you are and really work on becoming better. So if you want to do this and make real money as a beginner and someone that's learning, you should be documenting your trades and seeing how it became successful. What did you do? What confirmations did you wait for it to become successful? How many pips did you win? And if you start to see that you're averaging like all your trades that are 30 pips are winning, then that's probably going to be your goal moving forward, is to go for 30 pip trades until you want to do something else.
How do you do the demo? Like, where's the demo located at?
You have to download the MetaTrader 4 app, okay? And you can create one on there in the settings and just create a demo account. Or I use FX Choice and Hugo's Way. There's other brokers. There's a ton of other brokers. And you can just, it'll say create demo account. So you'll create a login, create your demo account. You'll use those credentials to sign into the MetaTrader 4 app on your phone or on your computer. And that's how you can do it. I am
Okay,
making,
thank you.
Shared it to you, Denise.
Okay, you sending it to me?
Yeah, I sent it to
Okay.
your phone.
okay,
Thank you.
perfect. I am making a video. Someone just asked me if I could make a video on how to enter and exit trades on the phone. So I have one of my teammates making one for Android, and I'll be making one tomorrow for iPhone. So that will be up in the training as well and on YouTube. So once you get to that level, you'll know how to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
All right. So now we know the market moves three ways: bullish, which is up, bearish, which is down, and sideways, which is ranging or consolidation. Okay. The next thing that we're going to look for is what is a retest and why is it so important? Have you ever heard like your mentor or people online saying no retest, no trade, no retest, no trade?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't tell me you only heard it from me. I'm sure you've heard it from somebody else, unless you're new.
Yeah.
Okay. So retests are so important, and they're important because they help confirm if the market is reversing. So, and again, I'll show you this. If the market is going up on your trend line and all of a sudden it breaks your trend line and it changes structure, it creates a lower high, then that is a retest and it's indicating that the market could be changing direction. Retests help avoid manipulations and they are great for entry confirmations. So I'm going to show you a picture of entry because at the end of the day, everybody's here trying to get better on how to enter. Are there a few of you that feel like you're in the red too long, or are you comfortable with how you're entering your trades, even if it's demo?
In the red too long. I've been in the red since yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how to calculate how many pips you've been in the red?
No.
Okay. So you'll have to, I want you to message me. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or I don't know what, but I want you to message me and let's look at what your drawdown is. Okay. Let's
Okay.
look at
I
that.
sent you a message on Messenger too.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we'll look at that and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
here's what a retest is, y'all.
Can you tell us how to get out as well, just since you were on that topic?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you when I do the Q&A. So let me write it down. Hold on. How to exit.
Good or bad, when to know when to, I know when it's in blue, it's on you, but how to exit.
You
Good
mean
or
like,
bad.
do you mean like literally how to exit on the app or
No,
like?
not on the app,
Okay.
on a strategy.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, for sure. So stop loss. You want stop loss clarification. Got it. Hold on, someone's chatting.
Stop loss and take profit. Like you can set that in, but you can do that for the whole trade. But if you're in the trade and you're realizing it's not going right or it is going right, like, do you want to stick to your stop losses? Can you, how do you modify that?
Okay, so in profit, hold on, in profit, how to protect capital. All right, I'm writing these down because I'm gonna do a Q&A after and I'm gonna go over all of this. Like I'm gonna go on my charts and show you, okay? So please stay on, don't exit. All right, so I'm gonna quickly I'm gonna make this big. So if anyone wants to screenshot this, please do. I am a retest trader. This is what I do. I wait for retests. So you can see here where we have a level on the top left. We have a triangle, right, where the market was closed in on the bottom left. We have a flag or a channel on the bottom right and a trend line on the top right. This is just ways to identify levels that the market is respecting. And essentially, you want to learn how to trap the market, okay? Trapping the market is going to be ideal because once you trap it and it breaks out, let me escape this. And for example, let's say it breaks out and retest. So it's basically like jumping out and it's landing on top, or it could jump out and hit below and close below. Either way, in this case, we're going up. So you can see where this previous high basically was broken and it landed on top and almost made it a floor, okay? So it broke out and it retested. These are the trades that I look for. I look for the breakout and the retest, okay? And whenever that happens, that is one of the indications that the market is going to go ahead and either continue going up, continue going down, or change direction. It just depends. In this case, whenever you see this type of setup, the market is creating higher lows, okay? It is making lower lows, but it's creating higher lows. And it essentially breaks out to the upside. It lands on top to continue going up. This is where you want to get in for the what. If you're going up, what are we going to do?
Buy it.
Buy it, exactly. So when you want to go up, you're waiting for it to make this ceiling, all right? This is the ceiling. You want it to land on top and make it a floor so it can keep going up, okay? That's the breakout and the retest. Same here. If you have a key level and the market is like, it stopped right here, if you want to go down, you want to wait for confirmation. You want this floor, okay, to become a ceiling. So look at here where it was a floor, it broke out, it retested, and it now made the floor a ceiling, and then it pushes down. So if we're looking for a sell, what type of trade is that? Is that bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
Bearish.
Yes, exactly. Same thing here with this trend line. The market was creating a low, a higher low, right? There's a high and a little bit of a higher high. It was unable to respect the trend line. It breaks the trend line, comes back and closes below now. Now, what can we expect? Do we think that it's going to continue going up or is it going to go down? It's going to go
Down.
down, right?
Fair.
As long as it's not a manipulation. There's nothing we can do about manipulations. But for the most part, when the market starts to have a hard time creating a higher high, right? Like you see how it's just not that high. When it's having a hard time and it doesn't respect that trend line, then there can be a change of direction. Same here. Market was going down. It finally broke out, retested, and then it started shooting up. So the retest is what you're looking for. If you're in my training and you're drawing key levels and you're drawing trend lines, you want to look for those retests. And you're not always going to get a perfect retest. You're not always going to get a retest, but you always want to get in at the retest. Remember when I showed you this bullish chart and I talked about getting the best price?
Yeah.
We don't want to buy up here. We want to wait for it to come back and retest. So look how there's a low. Look how a higher low forms right here. This is the retest. This is where you want to buy. So you have minimal drawdown, which means you're not going to be in the red for a long time and you can ride the wave up.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
So you see those two candlesticks at the retest right there?
Mhm.
How would you know which one to enter? Because I know the retest is like basically like an entry point, right?
It's this one right here. I'm gonna get into price action, but it's this
Okay.
one right here.
Hmm.
And it's because we're looking for bullish momentum, right? So we're looking for the market to go up. I'm looking for a sell candle to have a hard time going down, right? Because if it's a big sell candle, then it could break it and change direction. So I'm looking for a sell candle to reject this area and show me that it's not strong enough to push the market down.
Okay.
And I would do the opposite for a bearish. I would look for, you don't always have to do this. And as you get more advanced, you'll learn things like dojis and spinning tops and all these different type of candles, which I'm not going to go over today because that's just, I have a screenshot for y'all, but I'm not going to like bombard you with all that. But what I'm looking for here is a bullish candle or candles with some wicks that show that it's unable to break it. A wick is rejection. It means price attempted to go to that spot, but it was unable to. Okay, so
Okay.
break, and I'm looking for break and retest. All right, so I quickly did this. It's not perfect, but you can see here where there was a high, the market broke it and it retested and it landed on top. Drea, you see how this bearish candle wasn't able to break that level?
Yes.
And it rejected it, that would
Mhm.
be my confirmation.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
now we have a new high right here. The market broke it. And what did it do? It landed on top, right? Big sell candle, which would normally be red for most people. I have mine pink. Rejected this area, which is an indication that it's going to go up. Now we have this high right here. The market's breaking out. Oops, someone has feedback. Hold on. The market is breaking out of it and is now making the ceiling a floor. Okay, that's a good sign. When this high has been broken and retested, where it lands on top, that is a really good sign. That means it's going to shoot up, right? It's going to go the way we want. So there's a continuation. Then it came back down and retested. It came back down, really no structure, but it came back, gave us another breakout, and it retested. So now it made this ceiling a floor. So you see where the candles right here, this line was a ceiling. Breaks it, lands on top. It's no longer a ceiling, it's a floor. It's kind of like steps, just like steps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question, Jess. So would you, if you go all the way down to the first step, I guess you will call it.
This
Now,
one?
would you, yes. Now, would you enter after that green candle has closed, or how would you
No.
enter in that
I
position?
would look for the bearish candle, the sell candle, to have rejection or anything with a long wick. Because remember, I'm going up. So I want to see a sell candle have difficulty breaking this level. So this wick, even here, this one right here, but this wick right here, and it's a sell candle, is a major indication that it's about to go up. This is where you would want to enter. All right, some more examples. This is a sell. You can see right here where there's a doji, right? It's called a doji, an indecision candle. But you can see there's a big wick. There's rejection. There's rejection. I like this rejection right here. I like that this green big candle was unable to break this trend line and it went down. Right here, lots of wicks, which we're going to get into price action next. But when you see wicks like this, these are good signs. So for sells, whenever you see wicks on the top, and please write this down. For sells, whenever you see wicks, all right, these are wicks, these little sticks right here at the top, that is a very good indication to get into the trade. And you want to make sure that candle is closed.
I have a question, Jess.
Yeah, sure.
You only want to go for the sell when the wick is touching the trend line. Am I right?
Trend line, or it respects market structure, or both. So like sometimes the market can't always go back to the trend line. It doesn't always happen. But ideally, these are the trades that I would be looking for, the ones that do this. So yes, but sometimes it won't always go to the trend line. Sometimes, like you see this low right here, sometimes it won't go all the way to the trend line. It will just reject this previous market structure, which is here to the left, and it'll keep going down. But as long as it's under that trend line and you have price action confirming that, take the trade.
Can you say that one more time in regards to for sells when you see the wick? I missed the last
Yeah,
part
sure.
of that.
So for a sell, one good thing that you want to see are big wicks on the top. Okay? You want to see wicks on the top because that's rejection. That means that the candle attempted to go here. How many of you have sat there and literally watched your trades? Have you ever just sat there and watched your trades like it's a movie and you eat popcorn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
like it's a horror movie.
Right.
Sometimes it is.
Emotions.
Jimmy, I know you do because you freaking trade what, Nas 100 and US 30? I'd be like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
give me CBD oil every 2 minutes. Yeah, it's definitely emotional. But whenever, and where I'm going with this is whenever you're sitting there and you're eyeing your trade, you can see where the candle's moving like crazy, right? 1 minute it goes up, then it goes down, then it goes up, then it goes down. Let me tell y'all something. Until you become a pro, and even not even that, you want to wait for a candle to close. You always want to wait for the candle to close because a candle could sit there and look like this. Let's say it looks like this. But if there's still 20 minutes left to that candle, and I'm going to show you how to identify the time frame to a candle. Let me write this down. Time frame to candle. Okay. But if there's still 20 minutes left for that candle to close, it could manipulate the heck out of you. It could start going all the way up and fake you out, or it could start going all the way down and then close below. You want to wait for the candle to close. You always want to wait to avoid manipulations. Unless you're super advanced and you know your trade and you've been studying it like your pair and you've been studying it like crazy, but for the most part, you want to wait for that candle to close. The biggest thing that you're going to have to exercise with Forex or trading is patience. So if you are impatient, I promise you that this business is going to be the most humbling experience in the entire world. And eventually you'll get tired of losing money and have no other choice to go ahead and wait for the right move. So let's go down to the buy. You
I
can
have a quick question.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. When you say wait for the candle to close, you mean before you go to like the the trade, and then you hit like close out? Is that what you mean? Like
No,
don't close out. Okay.
no. So for entry, so if you're looking for an entry for a trade, you want to make sure that you're not being manipulated by the market. So like if you're on a 1 hour, let's say you're on the 1 hour chart and it's 1:15, there's still 45 minutes left for that candle to close. Okay. So that means that the market can move. It can move up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't want to get caught up in that. You want to make sure that the candle confirms that it's respecting either your level, your trend line, a zone, psychological level, whatever you want to call them, your indicator, whatever. You want to make sure that that candle is giving you the confirmation. And we started talking about it now, but we're going to get there.
Okay.
So for the bullish right here, for bullish or buys, whenever you have a nice big wick at the bottom, which is the stick, that is a good sign, especially if it's at your trend line, your key level, your indicator, your zone, whatever you want to call it, just your level, okay? When you see the nice wicks at the bottom, that's called rejection. That means price attempted to go there, it wasn't able to. The buyers won, that's why the candle's green and it's pushing up. Okay, which we're talking about price action, which are your candles. I use Japanese candlesticks. There's people that use bars, there's people that use Heikin-ashi, there's people that use all different types. This is what I'm using. I really don't care what anybody else is using. I'm going to teach you what I know, and you can take it or leave it. I like candlesticks because they tell a story. All right. So if you don't understand the anatomy of a candle, you need to know this. You should not just be like, oh, these are candles. You need to know this. It is very important that you understand what this is. So if you want to screenshot it, go ahead and screenshot it.
I'm done. Oh.
Okay. So the green candle is clearly a buy, right? And buy candles open on the low. They open here and they close at the top. Okay. Not all of them have the wicks like this. Okay. Just so you know. However, this is a great example because it's going to talk about what we just were going over. Whenever you see these things right here, these are called wicks. So it's just like when you buy a candle from the store, it has a wick on it, right? Same thing. This means that while this candle was moving within its time frame, so whether it's a 1 hour chart, 15-minute, 5-minute, daily, the candle was going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down while price was moving. And that means price attempted to go up here, but the bulls, which were the buyers, did not have enough momentum to get it to close up here. Okay. This wick at the bottom means that the sellers were fighting. It's like tug of war. They were fighting and they were trying to push it down, push it down, push it down. So you probably would have observed this candle be really big real quick, like all the way down here, or bearish. But when the market, when it closed up here. Okay. So it opened down here and it closed at a higher price, which is good. That's a good thing for buys. For sells, they do the opposite. Sells open at the top and they close at the bottom. So whenever you see sell candles, you'll notice that it'll close here and the new candle will open right next to it and either close below it or close above or inside of it. But typically the next candle will open where the previous candle closes, unless the market gaps, but that's more advanced. Same thing here. Where it closed, a new candle will form and it will open right where this one closed. Okay. These are different candlestick patterns. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, and it's a little blurry. You can Google this. You can just do Forex candlestick patterns and this will pop up. I don't personally, if you're in my course, you know this. I'm not big on proper terminology. I just know what it looks like. I know that I like these right here. Where's my mouse? Hold on. Oh, well, let me show you. I like spinning tops. I like dojis. I like engulfing candles. The biggest thing I like to see is rejection, which are those wicks. Okay. So I love those wicks because they're just really strong confirmations. And I'm going to show you a few examples after I go over the Q&A. But besides that, does anyone have any questions about the candles?
No.
How many people have studied candles? Do you pay attention to them or you just kind of don't pay no mind to them?
I don't pay no
Candles.
mind to candles.
No?
No.
I have,
I
but
just started studying them
I
just
have.
now, and I love it.
I've studied them.
Yeah, but here's my question, because I actually tried to look at candle structures too, but I've always wondered what time frame does it matter the most?
So the higher time frame is always going to be the strongest time frame. The higher the time frame, the stronger your levels are and the stronger your candlesticks are. Okay. You don't have to be a swing trader to understand that, but I always recommend, unless you're like a scalper, but for the most part, I recommend always looking at the daily and understanding the bigger picture of the chart that you're looking at. You need to know if your trade is at a daily high level or a daily low, because if it is at a daily support level, you can expect that it could possibly go up, right? So you want to make sure you're just aware of those levels. And if you have candlesticks that, and I'm going to show you this, that reject those areas, that's an indication of what type of trades you could be getting into for the rest of the week just by looking at the daily. Okay. So give me 1 second. I'm going to share my chart with y'all so that I can go over the Q&As. Let me see if I can. Here we go. All right. Can you see my chart?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we can just look, I'm going to just look right here. Okay. Right now I'm looking at GBP USD, which is the British pound against the US dollar. And again, if you're advanced, we know this is a double top, like we know this, but for newer people, understand that I'm trying to simplify this. We can see that this is a high. So the market had a low, there's a high, a low, a high, a low, a high right here. Okay. So if I had this charted up and earlier in the week I was in this buy, I know that a potential place where this could stop is right here, because what happened before? What happened here?
It hit resistance.
It hit resistance and it started going down, right? So I know that this is a strong level just right here, just by looking at this. I didn't have to draw trend lines. I didn't have to do any of that. I see that this is a high here. And in order for the market to create a higher high, based off of what I just told y'all, what would need to happen?
Break and retest.
Yes, very good. Yes, it would have to break it, land on top to give us another push up. Now, this candle is not done. I'm on the daily. If you use TradingView, there's a countdown timer. You can double click or right click on this, excuse me, and there's a countdown to bar close feature. I use this, okay? This lets you know that there's 18 hours and 27 minutes left for this candle to close. Does that mean that automatically this is gonna go down?
Nope.
No, and why not?
Because there's still time left enough.
Yes, yes, there's still time right now left for this candle to move. However, we are aware that it is at a daily resistance area. So now our next step is to go to a smaller time frame and observe what? What do you think we would need to observe?
I want to say price action, but
Yes, yeah.
okay.
You want to observe the candles. So you're not going to see that right now on the daily. So we have to go down to a smaller time frame, which I'm going to do the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I'm going to flip between the two. So do you see here? Remember what I told y'all? If you're looking for a sell, where do you want to see the wicks? On the top?
At the top.
right? Thank you. On the
Oh.
top and bottom. Exactly. You want to see that rejection at the top. Whenever you see that rejection at the top in those resistance areas, that's a beautiful sign. I mean, we've had, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but the election has made the market move a little wonky. So it's a little crazy right now. But you can see here, even for example, look how it went all the way back up close to that daily level right here. Even right here, if you look left, it rejected it like big time. You see that big wick? And then what happened right after? It went down.
It went down.
Okay. Now let's look at it from a reverse perspective. Look at all the wicks on the bottom. You see where all the big wicks were at the bottom, especially this one right here. What happened when that wick at the bottom hit? And this is like an area of support.
It went up.
It went up. This is very basic, but let me tell y'all, if you're not paying attention to your candles, I hope that's the one thing that you take from this webinar, because these candles tell you a story, it will make you money. All right. So we see rejection here. Okay. We see rejection right now. I'm going to go down to the 1 hour. And what I'm looking for is something that I teach my VIP team. It's called exhaustion. What else do I call it? Pretty much exhaustion, right, y'all? I think it's exhaustion. I think I have a few of y'all in here. So exhaustion are these little bitty, like sometimes you see these little bitty candles right here with all these little wicks.
Spinning top.
Yes. So I like to see, yes, thank you. I like to see rejection like this. Whenever I see rejection like this, that's either an indication that it's going to just pull back, or it could be changing direction. Okay. And again, I'm just covering price action. So these are things that you want to look for when you're getting into trades. You want to look for rejection of that major level. If you would have not went to your daily level, there's a possibility you would have looked at your 4 hour chart and you would have seen that, okay, look, this was a previous high. I see that it's rejecting it right now. Okay. So it may come down. Now, when it comes to trading, what goes up must come down, and vice versa. It just is what it is. Whenever you see big momentum like this, the market will do something called a pullback or a retracement, or retest. There's different things that you can call it. So whenever you see major momentum up, there usually will be just a little bit of momentum going down. It's like running a couple of miles. You may, unless you just are super athletic, you may have to take a water break, or you may need to take a breather or walk one lap before you get back to running. It's the same thing with the market. The market has to take some breaks. Okay. Hold on, yeah, someone's trying to join. All right. So those are things that you do want to look for. You always want to observe that price action. And now that I'm telling you this, you see all these big wicks right here in the bottom. Look at every time you saw a big wick like this. What happened on the bottom?
It went up.
It went down?
No, on the bottom, the wicks on the bottom.
They went up.
It went up. So if you sat here and you were trying to determine what's going on, and you see a nice big wick at the bottom, right? And you wait for that candle to close, you can then go in on your next candle or put an order in and just get into the trade. All right. So these are really good indications. I like to look for my confirmation on the 4 hour, or sometimes a higher time frame, and then go one time frame lower. Okay, for my entry. So for example, if I'm on the 4 hour, I'll wait for a 4 hour confirmation. So I'm going to do this. Let's say I wanted to buy here. I'll go down to like the 1 hour. Let me locate it, y'all. All right. So that 4 hour candle is 4 1 hour candles. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that 1 4 hour candle shows you, if you go down to a smaller time frame, you can see what's going on. The moment this candle right here rejected, I would have been in on the next candle right there, and I would have gotten in.
So that's when you would buy that last red candle. You see that the rejection, or that it's going down. Is that when you would buy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because there's a big wick at the bottom. Now, normally I would also have support and resistance levels drawn.
So what if it's a little wick on the bottom?
No. No, unless I have a trend line or a key level or it's breaking and retesting market structure. No. Right now, what I'm trying to, well, that's not a bad question. But what I want to see is a nice wick. Now, you're not always going to get a wick like that. That's not always going to happen. So you'll have to use key levels and trend lines to help identify entries. But whenever you see something like this, that is a really big indication of where the market, what the market is about to do.
What time frame are? Oh, I'm sorry.
What time frame? What? What? Oh, I don't know.
The confirmation.
So if I'm looking at the 4 hour, I'll go down to the 1 hour. So if the 4 hour candle closed like this, I would go to the 1 hour. If I'm on the 1 hour like this, I would go down one time frame smaller, like the 30-minute.
Oh, okay.
I always wait for my break on the higher time frame and the retest on the smaller. You can wait for the retest to happen on the 1 hour as well. You can do that. That's just what I do.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm going to answer Drea's question, how to draw a trend line. All right, so she asked a really good question. She said she doesn't know how many points she needs to touch. I'm really, really big on including wicks on my trend lines because price always goes back to the wicks. It always does. And I've observed so many traders who do not include the wicks and then they think they're getting manipulated or they think the market's going to change direction and it doesn't. So for example, if I was here, I can either use this.
Why you done touching a hot one like this?
Hold on, yeah. I can either use this tool right here, or there's something called like array where you can do this and it'll kind of draw it out for you. Okay. I try to get as many touches as possible without cutting the bodies of candles. So what does that mean? I try not to do, hold on. I try not to do this. You see what I mean?
Okay.
I try not to do that. Now,
I was just going to ask you, why didn't you do it to the higher wick instead of going over? Yeah, instead of doing that.
Yeah, no,
that's what my problem was. I was always trying to touch each wick instead of doing it the way you're doing it right now.
Yeah, no. So I always try to do that. Now, sometimes you don't need to draw it from up here. You can draw from here if you want. You know what I mean? You can do that. But I look for at least 2 touches. 2 touches is what I look for. Okay. And this was something, I think it was, I know your last name is, I think is Spriggs. I think that's what I saw. Where I said the market doesn't sometimes always come back and touch that trend line. But you can see where there's a low right here. And the market broke out and retested that low. It retested the trend line too, but it didn't like hit it like these. So you can see right here when you saw that rejection, even if you didn't get it on this candle, getting it on the next candle wasn't going to hurt you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you went over it already, but they call that like a trend zone. Am I right?
I don't know. I don't know who called it that, but you have right here, you're looking for the low to be broken and retested to confirm a continuation in the downtrend. Sometimes you're not always going to get the trend line touch, but as long as it's making this low a ceiling and you see rejection, like this price action, that's a big confirmation to get into the trade. Jimmy, what were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say that to something that I do to confirm if my trend line's, on point is, that trend line that you put at the top. I would right click it and then clone it. Mm-hmm. And then I would drag it to the bottom to see if it matches with the other wicks. And if it does, then
like a channel?
Either wicks. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then that's, that's a strong confirmation that you're on point with your trend lines.
Very nice. So what he's talking about is a channel, which is really like channels are awesome because they like you'll see the market rejecting it. You see these wicks at the bottom, the market will reject it and then it'll come back up and retrace. Okay. Some of you may ask me, well, can I buy here or whatever? Excuse me. I am big on trading the trend. when you counter trend trade or go against the trend, you really have to have skill and know when to pull out. Because the last thing you want to do is get caught in a buy when the market is doing what? It's going down.
It's trending down.
Exactly. So if you're sitting here in a buy and you didn't put your take profit, or you just think it's going to ride, thanks. But the market went up, and then all of a sudden it's starting to go down and it keeps going down, you're going to have to take that loss, which sucks because you went against the trend or you're being greedy.
Yep.
So you really have to exercise patience.
Hey, Jess. I was just gonna chime in. It's go back to what you said earlier. You either have to have patience, super patience, or you have the capital to wait until the market finally does come back up. Because like you said, every up has a down and every down has an up.
Yeah, and thank you. It's true. And a lot of people feel like when they're trading, when they're marking up their charts, that they have to get into something. How many of you have that trading itch? Like, let's keep it real. How many of you have sat there and marked up your chart and like, oh, I could sell right now, or I could buy right now? And
I
you
did before.
I used to.
Yeah, I do that.
I don't do it no more though.
Well, sometimes the best move is no move.
Yeah, say it again.
So sometimes the best move is no move.
Let me tell you something. That is so underrated, that statement. So underrated, or underestimated. Like, people don't understand that. Waiting for the market to come to your analysis is by far the best thing you can do. And if you find yourself over trading or just looking at the charts nonstop because you're just waiting for it to happen, my friend, you need to find a hobby. I'm serious. And I'm going to be so honest with y'all. I lost $1,500 not too long ago, which that doesn't happen to me often, but I lost $1,500, and it sucked. It sucked because I don't lose money like that often, but it was all because I was not sticking to my plan. I was trying to do a million things at once. I was like, oh, let me just get in. And then I forgot I was in the trade. I just did so many dumb mistakes, and I've been trading for a while, and I made the mistake. Okay. And it was like, you know what? If I would have just waited, or if I would have just not traded at all, I would have been good, but I was too busy trying to do a million things at once. And you have to make sure that when you're trading, that your mind is clear, okay? And you have your setups prepared. Now, if you're on my VIP team, I do give you both case scenarios on trades. When I provide trade ideas and my team provides trade ideas, we show you what a buy would look like and what a sell would look like and what confirmations to wait for, so that you can become more familiar with trend reversals, manipulations, and just how to identify entry. Okay. So you should always have your charts at least marked up, so that when the market goes to your analysis, you don't have to feel like you're rushing to mark up, or just you feel like you have to hurry up and just jump in and trade, but you're not planned out structurally. You have to have a plan. I know I went.
Question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, for a beginner trader, what would you recommend being on? So would you recommend being on like the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 4 hour? And then how do you manage that still while, like, how do you manage like checking your trade while still doing other things?
So when you trade, you're going to have something. Well, you know what? This goes into a question: how to exit a trade, how to take profit. So this is going to go right into that question that was just asked. So let's do it. All right. So in this case, we had our trend line, right? We had our trend line here. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for rejection to my trend line so that I can get into the trade. I'm looking for something like this. Now, I teach my students 1-to-3 ratio. And what that means is, I don't want to make this too long.
Oh, wait, quick question. I'm sorry, before you start. So my question is back to the trend line. You see how you're moving the chart like back, and then you pick that highest part to start your trend line. How do you know that's the perfect point to start the trend line? Like, why are you moving it so far back instead of going kind of close to where the
Price is at?
Basically, like where the price, yes.
Yeah, no, you can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can do that too. I was just showing the respect. Well, this was not pretty. I was showing the respect. But remember I said earlier, I was like, you don't have to start up here. You can come down. I look for at least two touches. And you can see where it was respected, respect, broken, and even respected, right? To go up. So I'm just looking for the market to respect my lines. If I'm drawing a trend line and it's looking like this and there's candles going like out of it, then I either don't have a trend or I'm not drawing my trend line correctly. Or you're probably trading a crazy volatile pair.
So it's never possible to have a trend line that's like jagged like that?
You shouldn't, unless you're trading like a pair that's really choppy. That could just indicate that there really is no trend.
Oh.
See, even this, you see how ugly it is right here? Right? There still technically is a trend, okay? And I'm not even going to use this low. I'm going to use this low right here. You can see where the market was creating higher lows, right? It's ugly, but it still was creating higher lows. It wasn't making lower lows. So the market was slowly moving up. No matter how ugly it was still doing that, indicating an uptrend.
With the demo accounts, is that only for the phone, or can you do that on the computer too?
You can do it on the computer. As long as you have your login credentials from your broker, whatever broker it is, you just log in on your MT4. I don't use MT4 on my computer. I stopped using that like 2 years ago. I just trade with my phone. But you can just put that information in and you're good to go.
I got a question. Can we trade with TradingView or we can't do that?
You can. I just don't know how personally. I believe you can connect certain type of broker accounts, but I've never done it. So I personally can't advise you and say, here's what you do. But I do believe that you're able to log in with certain brokers because they give you the option to buy and sell.
Okay.
I have a question too. I just want to know, like, as far as the candlesticks or whatever, like, how do you know, like, when they're closing off? Like you said, like an hour, like, wait till the hour stops. Like, how do you recognize that? Like, do you MT? That's what I have on my phone. I've never looked at the charts unless it was TradingView or whatever on my computer. So, like, how do you know, like, if you have 45 minutes to that, where do you go to look at that? Like,
Okay, so on TradingView, the countdown timer is right here. So on the 1 hour, this candle has 8 minutes and 27 seconds left. Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can blow it up. Okay. So you just go look up under like wherever you're entering at, or
yes. Yeah. So like, let me show you how though real quick, because I don't know if you saw it or not. You're just going to right click and you're going to make sure the check mark is right here where it says countdown to bar close.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So like, for example, right now this candle's bearish, but in the next 7 minutes, it could go up. The president could tweet and this could go crazy, right? So you want to make sure that you wait for the candle to close. If this candle ends up having a nice big wick on the top, then what can we project?
It's going to go bullish, right?
It's going to go down. It'll go down a little. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, so
you would that be considered news?
Hold on, wait, let her finish talking. Hold on.
I'll right click, right? And then just go to like,
countdown to bar close.
Okay. Just one more question too. So like I was looking at your prices. I don't know. This is Kia from Facebook to Kia.
Hey.
And so hey girl, Jess. But yeah, so I was also wondering, like, if I decided to take the 109 like a month classes or whatever, would that be considered just regular or VIP?
That's VIP. The 109 is just for anyone that doesn't want to pay the one-time fees and they want to do pay as you go and cancel at any time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all.
Welcome. So someone asked, oh no, you're fine. Someone asked if that would be news. Not always. So like the wick doesn't necessarily mean that there's news. obviously with what's going on right now and the way 2020 has been, news has just been, especially this week, news has been crazy. So normally I would say not all the time, but in this case, yes, because of this pair has USD by it and the USD news affects it. But you definitely want to check news as well with whatever pair it is that you're trading. And you want to check for high impact news or medium impact news and be very careful because that pair can be volatile, which means it can move a lot within the hour of that news event and sometimes an hour after. All right. So you definitely want to be careful.
Quick
You know,
question.
I just realized we've got the election and then tomorrow's the NFP, right?
You know what? Oh my goodness.
That is like a double whammy.
What is tomorrow?
Non-farmers payroll. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, this is fun. And you know what? Disney just let go of 18,000 employees. Another 18,000. So the unemployment rate, they're projecting it to be lower, but that doesn't include Disney's numbers. So I'm curious to see what will happen. I think it's gonna. I'm curious. I'm gonna stay quiet, but that's all I'm gonna say. Huh?
Do we even have a president right now?
Yeah, we still have Trump until the end of the year.
Until January, right? But like that isn't that news in itself that could also affect the market?
Absolutely. The market's been going nuts from the indecision of the votes and people protesting because the mail-in ballots. It's definitely, this is a different type of news, and trading during the election is something that I personally don't even do. I don't trade during the election, especially with this type of election. This has been very different than in the past. So you have to be very careful and protect your capital with stuff like this, because if you've been observing the markets, it's been a little bit crazy. I mean, look how it's gone up, it's gone down, it's been a little bit crazy. So you just got to be careful.
I have a quick question. When you were talking about the closeout countdown, I think that's what it was. Is that also on the phone as well, or just on computer?
No, on your phone. If you have TradingView on your phone, you'll be able to see it as long as you have the settings set up on your desktop. If not, and you're just using your MT4, you would just have to use, like, unfortunately, like your brain. I hate to say that, but we're in a world with convenience. So, like, for example, if you're on your MT4 and you're in the hour chart and it's 10:57, we know that there's 3 minutes left and the hour is going to be done, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And a new candle will form at 11. If you're using the 4-hour candle, I can tell you right now, I had just sent this to my team. I don't know if anyone even knew what I did, but if you're on the 4-hour and your Eastern Standard Time, it's 3, 7, and 11. So 3 a.m. is when the candle opens, 7 a.m. and 11 a.m., and then 3 p.m., 7 p.m., 11 p.m. is when the candles open because of daylight savings time. So 3, 7, 11 is when the new candle opens.
Which one do you recommend for a new trader to start on?
Look, the 4-hour is my favorite time frame. The 4-hour is my favorite, at least to draw my levels. I don't mind trading the 1-hour. I don't personally trade the 1-hour, but the 4-hour levels, I highly recommend using. I highly recommend. There's people on here on my team. They can, y'all can talk. Oh, Denise.
I'm definitely learning to use it, and it is it doesn't give you a headache. It's just so like peaceful to use that one.
The 4-hour, yeah.
For me.
It is.
If you want,
I'm sorry.
You mind if I chime in?
No, go ahead.
Hey, so I've been trading for a while, and it's one of those, I had it on the back burner, and I've finally taken the shot to really like get into it, and that's why I jumped in with Jess, because I can vouch for Jess. I know that she knows what she's doing. So when I started out very low on the scale, more in the 1-hour and the 30-minute. Sometimes I would even jump in like the 15-minute, and it drove me nuts. And Jess told me a while back, she was like, don't ever go below 30 minutes unless you are okay with anxiety, because that's exactly what you're going to get yourself into. So after that, I jumped and I stayed mostly between the 1-hour and the daily for a lot of my stuff. But that's because I also watched a lot of the news and things like that to see what was going on hourly. I think now I probably base more of my time because I do more of the swing trade, and I do the Insta, and I do more of the 4 hour and the daily.
Mm-hmm. So that's, you know, when you talked about news, and I'm glad you chimed in, so thank you. When you talk about news, someone just asked me privately if when the president tweets, does that affect the market? Anybody want to answer that one?
No, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
About 10 times a day.
If you're a trader, you probably like Trump. I hate to say that, but depending if you know what you're doing and you read his tweets right, you probably really like the president because he has definitely given us a lot of volatility in the market. And whether you you know, I'm not even going to get to the political aspect. It's just people follow him. People follow him. If he says something's not going this way, people pull out of stocks. If he says something's going this way, people buy into stocks. It is what it is. They listen to him, and corporate America likes him, and he's made corporate America a ton of money with his tweets. So that's, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So
Can I?
Yeah.
Hey, I was just going to say that don't let all of this information, if you're new, you're beginning or whatever, don't let all this information just bombard you. Take it slow, take your own time. And I'm telling you, you can search out anybody you want to online for a coach, mentor, whatever. You're not going to find anybody as real as Jess is and her videos to make it as simple. You will make it hard on yourself the more you dig. If you'll take your time, go through the steps, watch her videos, not once, twice, maybe 3 times each one, and let that sink in before you move on. And no one's pushing you, and she's there for questions. You can't go wrong.
Thank you.
I have a question off of
Yes.
that. Do you like, so with your teams, do you do like weekly meetings or daily meetings or?
Yes. So because I'm homeschooling now, it has really hurt my schedule. So I do 1 to 2 webinars a week, and they're recorded. When my kids are back in school, which I'm hoping I can do next semester, I usually hop on more. The team knows I will hop on more. And I think Atia is one of the people that will, she was just saying this, that the webinars are really where, in my opinion, is where I put a lot of the value in my courses. I expect all my new people to go through the content first, do the homework, just so you understand what I'm talking about. And then you can participate in the webinars after. You're not missing anything. If you want to join the webinars, that's fine. That's on you. But I really want to make sure you have an understanding of what I teach before you join so that you don't feel completely left out, you know? So it's just like, okay, I see what everybody's talking about. And I answer questions. Like I have an amazing team, and I'm so thankful for them because I could not do this without them. But I'm very engaged with my team. Like this is what I do full time. Trading and teaching is my full-time job besides my, you know, my kids and all that. So I'm here to help. Like I need y'all to be successful because if y'all successful, guess what? So am I. You know? And I really enjoy helping people. I mean, I enjoy it, especially learning something like this. This is something that can change your life forever. It can change, if you have kids, it can change your kid's life. I have a 10-year-old student that is killing it. My 7-year-old son, he's wanting to learn on his own. I don't even force it on him, and he understands. He understands it. So, you know, you'd be surprised what you can do with this. You can, you know, I mean, I don't want to tell people how to run their things, but if you have kids and you're giving them an allowance and they're older, maybe you can teach them how to do this, and they could put their allowance towards maybe a stock investment, or because you can apply this to stocks too, you guys. So there's so many ways that this can change your life. You can use it for your 401ks, for your retirement account. You can build that up and intraday it and then use that money for a down payment of a house. So you're paying less taxes. There's so much that you can do with this. I just want as many people as possible to learn it. I really do. Instead of having to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, or feel like they're underpaid, or sacrificing for these little 3% raises, or, you know, like it's deeper to me. You know, this changed my life. And if I can help people, then that's what I want to do. I want to help.
Miss Jess, I have a quick question.
Sure.
This is Celia. Hi.
Hi.
For a beginner who's just coming into this, what pair do you recommend? And I know from watching your past videos that you've suggested sticking with one pair and learning it. But what would you suggest? Like, what type of pair would you suggest?
Ooh, Atia, what pair do you think that I'm gonna say?
Ozzy.
EU.
Okay, y'all. So my top trader, Alexis, I don't know if she's on here. She is my rib. She is my everything. She trades Aussie pairs, and I've never been big on it. She's the one that gives those markups to the team. I'm a London session girl. I trade London session. But recently I have been trading Aussie USD. And this pair is a little slow, but let me tell you something, especially if I have some experienced people on here. This is a beautiful pair. It is a beautiful pair because it has minimal drawdown. And we still need to go over that because that's a question that someone asked and I haven't covered it yet. But when I say drawdown, I mean like your risk, okay? Your risk to reward. It is usually like 13 pips max, maybe 20 at the most. It is beautiful. So I would say Aussie USD is a really good pair. There's not a lot of volatility in it. It moves nicely. I really have fallen in love with that pair. And whenever I trade that pair, I do like double standards. I use very high lot sizes because I'm just so confident in its movement. So for a newbie that just wants smoothness and none of this like craziness, I would definitely say Aussie USD.
Is that something I can change on MetaTrader, or is that only when you're trading live?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, the demo account. Is that something that you can change on the demo account? Because on the demo account, I think it just gives you like chart, candle, or a line, I think.
Yeah, okay. So if you're on your phone, you go to where it says quotes. And Aussie USD is actually like the first one that pops up for most brokers. If not, I don't know if I'm on an iPhone, but you would have to click the plus sign and go to like FX crosses, and you can find it in there. And it would just go ahead and add to your list under quotes.
What do I type in in search?
No, not in search. Do you see it first when you click on quotes? Do you see AUD USD?
AUD, yes.
Okay, so then you don't need it. So you would just click on that, and then you should have an option to look at the chart or hold on to it, and it'll say chart, and you can just look at the chart.
Okay.
But this pair has definitely become one of my favorites. I literally can make $1,000 easily with this pair. Literally, and not, I don't have to worry.
How many pips?
I'm using double standards, so I'm not going for much. But
what does that mean, double standard?
That's your lot sizes. That's your risk. That's how much you're willing to risk per movement. So a pip is like every point that it moves. There's a thing called, and a lot of people, if you come from an MLM, you've probably been told like it's 10 cents, $1, something like that. But a 0.01 lot size is 10 cents a pip. So you would be essentially making 10 cents every time it moves 1 pip or 1 point in your favor. If you use a 1.00, that's actually $10 per pip, and we call that a standard. You're in the Facebook group. I will repost the picture that helps with this. So you have it to save. And a standard is $10 per pip, which means you're gonna be in profit $10 for every point if it goes your way, or $10 in the negative if it goes the opposite way.
Hey, Jess, I have a question about that actually.
Sure.
Your traders that are not swing traders that are, they jump in and jump out.
Mm-hmm.
Do they use mini or they use standard more often?
Standard.
Or do you know?
Standards.
They always go standards?
Yeah.
Standard lots.
Standard or 0.5, like a half a standard, so $5 a pip. But you have to understand, if you're going for 5 to 10 pips, depending on what your trading style is, what is your goal? Is your goal $100 a day? Is your goal $50 a day? Is it $5 a day? And for those of you that are scalping, I know this, that's going to hear this and not a scalper, it's going to sound good, but I'm telling you that you have to understand that when you're scalping, you are definitely risking more. Okay, so you want to understand the direction of where it's going, and you got to get in and get out. Like, get in and get out. That doesn't mean that you're in the negative all day and then you're finally 1 pip in profit and you take out, because I've seen so many people do that.
Right.
That's not what that means. That means that if your goal is 10 pips, then usually when scalping, you're probably risking 10 pips to make 10 pips. Again, I'm not a scalper, so I don't want to sit here and say that's how it goes. For me, there's no way. I'd rather just chill and have my trade running and I make my money. Like,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Hi. So I just I remember you just said recently that you lost like 1,500 in the stock market. Is there like a stop loss?
Yep, that's what we're about to do. I have been trying to answer this girl's question. I don't even know if she's on here. I think she has it under Anaya, right? Is she on here? I think I said it right. Oh my gosh.
But Jess, you lost 15, but your account was able to cover that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you guys, my account can handle a $1,500 loss. Like, let me make that.
I can't believe you still talk about that loss, Jess. It's been a while now. Why are you still talking about it?
Because I'm very competitive. And I love what I do, and I don't like being wrong. I'm just gonna keep it real. I do not like being wrong. All right. So I'm going to go over take profit and stop loss, and we are going to look at, let me see, because this has been a little, okay. All right. So I'm going to replay mode. If you're in my course, I know that I do make money, obviously, if you upgrade your plan, but I really believe in the replay mode. So I'm not trying to really upsell you. I just want y'all to have it. All right. So in this case, what are we doing? I have a trend line. I have 2 points. I drew my trend line, and we can see for right now, this big candle was unable to break this trend line, right? And we have a bearish candle forming. So when I'm looking for a sell, there's a couple things that I take into consideration. So I'm using a short position. Short means sell, long means buy. And I'm looking to get in around this area, okay? For my take profit, I like to use previous market structure, which is the previous low. I like to use where the market hit before. You're welcome to use this low if you want. I like to use the previous low, okay? So if I'm going for a sell, if the market is going to continue going down, right? If it's going to go further than this and make a lower low, where does it have to go first? It has to go to this previous low first before it attempts to create a lower low. So this is a higher probability of me winning, because if it decides to keep going down, I know it will at least hit this area. Does that make sense?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been practicing on TradingView, and I get how to do the stop loss and take profit and all that on there. But when I get to the MetaTrader, it's a little difficult because I don't see where to put in my trade. I'm on the I got MetaTrader on my phone and I got it on my laptop.
Wait, did you message me this morning?
Yeah, we talked this morning.
Okay, I'm making your videos.
Okay.
So I just had one of my teammates do an Android video for me tonight, and I'm making you an iPhone video. It will be up by tomorrow. You're going to have your video to show you how to do it on the actual MetaTrader 4.
Okay, is there a way you guys can do a video for the laptop too, in case I'm like trading on here?
I can ask somebody because I do not use MetaTrader 4 at all on my desktop. But
Okay.
when you go to enter a trade, if you double click it, like your entry, a window will pop up and it'll say take profit, stop loss, and you want to enter your numbers there.
Okay.
You can also take the line, like let's say you enter a trade on your MT4. If you hold on to the line and drag it up, it'll put your stop loss for the sell. And then if you drag it down, I don't know if it does your take profit. I'm not sure about that. But I know if you drag it for the stop loss, it'll do it for you.
Okay.
But you got to grab the entry line. So when you enter the trade, I don't know if it makes the balloon pop on MT4, but when you enter your trade, you'll just drag it up to. So like, I'm not going to use this stop loss for real, but let's say I enter and this is a line right here on my MT4. I just hold it and I go like this and then I let go and it should automatically make a stop loss for you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So the tool that you're using to figure out the stop loss and the and basically like your target, how do you know how many pips would be your stop loss and how many pips would be the
take profit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, looking at this.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 206 pips right here. I don't need to do 107 pip stop loss. Does anyone know why I don't need to do 107 pips just looking at this?
Trend line.
Exactly, there's a trend line. If the market decides to break this trend line, why would I sit there and risk all this money? Because if it breaks this trend line and retest structure, it's going to change direction. So why would I risk this much?
So maybe 20?
It depends. So you have to study your pair. But in this case, I would go down to a smaller time frame, either the 4 hour or the 1 hour. Okay. You see this high right here?
Yeah.
Right here? Look at how this is a level. You see right here where, for the most part, this has been respected and respected.
Yeah.
I would make sure my stop loss is a little bit outside that trend line just to avoid manipulation and put it slightly above this. Okay. So if the market decides to go outside that trend line, then it is what it is. I take a loss. I'm okay with that. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Hold on, y'all, so you can see, because this is going to be huge. So now, and 37 pips is still, it's big for this pair. 37 pips is big for this pair. But you can see that I'm risking 37 pips to make how many?
206.
206. This is where I talk about risk to reward. If you divide 206 by 37, get your calculators out. What number do you get? Somebody's got to be fast. Come on.
6.3.
No, 206 divided by 37. Let me make sure mine's right.
5.56.
5.56.
5.56. So what does that mean? What that means is I am risking 37 pips. Let's say I'm using $1 a pip just to make this easier. I'm risking $37 to make $206. That is almost, that's 5.5 times more than what I'm willing to pay. That is a good trade. That's a 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. People say it differently. That's a good trade. What that means is if this trade goes the way I want it to, I could lose 4 trades if I'm exercising the same risk management, and I could still be in profit by the end of the week just because of this.
Okay,
Hey,
so
Jess, if this trade is going, I'm sorry, if this trade is going the way you want, and can you extend your profit side farther down to catch more?
So for me, I do twin trading, so I'll get into a trade a couple times, and then I'll leave my take profit open for my swing trades. Like I'll leave them open, and I'll set alerts just so I know my levels are being hit, but I'll just leave it open so that it's in profit. Once my trade is in, depending on my pair, but once I'm in profit by a couple of pips, I then take my stop loss and I move it to break even. So I move it a little bit lower than my entry. So for example, if this is my stop loss, and I'm going to make it red. That's not really red. There we go. This is my stop loss, right? This is my entry, right? Okay, that's my entry. I'm going to let this play a little bit. All right. You see this right here? Some people move their stop loss right here. They would move it right here automatically. I don't do that yet. And if you've been taught that way and it's working for you, that's fine. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I wait for the market to have a retest first and then go down before I move my stop loss to break even or a little bit below it or secure part of my profits. Okay, because I don't want to get taken out too quick. If you find yourself moving your stop loss to break even real quick and you're doing that a lot and you're getting stopped out, you're probably using too high of a lot size and you're panicking because you need to trust your analysis. Okay, so what does this mean? What am I looking for? Let me show you.
Can you repeat that last part, Jess, please?
Oh crap. Let me try to remember what I just said. Okay, my memory is horrible. If you move your stop loss quickly into profit, right? The moment you see your trade in profit, you are probably using too high of a lot size, which means you're probably risking too much, or you have not basically overcome the emotions of trading. Okay. What I look for before I bring my stop loss into profit or take some of my profits or just bring it down, because you don't want to lose your capital. The goal is to protect your capital. Once the trade is moving the way that you want it, you don't need the stop loss up here anymore. You need to secure some of that money. Oops, excuse me. You need to secure some of that money. Okay. But we want to wait. And this is what you're waiting for. This is what I wait for. You see how the market's going down? I want to see it pull back and make a lower what? Because it's a sell.
Lower high.
A lower high and then go down, right? And then make a lower high and then go down. That's what I want to see. So when the market does this and I see rejection and it starts going down, that's when I bring it down so that this retest doesn't take me out the trade. If I bring my stop loss too quickly and it retests and it wicks it, all that profit I just had, if I'm holding the trade, is gone. It's gone. I win $2 or $10 or whatever. Okay. So I wait to get that retest. So we can see here where the market, look, this was the retest. Do you see it right here? Look. I'm going to delete this, you guys. That thing drives me nuts. I use lines. I hate using that tool. But you can see where we had two bullish candles retest. Where did it retest? Right here to a level that's been respected. Again, if you're in the free course, you would understand that this is market structure. So the market broke out, retested, and now it's going down. All right, I'm bringing my stop loss now to break even. So if this trade decides to go in the opposite direction, do I lose money?
Nope.
No, I don't lose any money. I don't lose any money at all. The goal is to protect your capital, right? So someone asked, how often do you check your trades? And that was a really good question. If you're trading on the 4 hour, I mean, you can check on the 4 hours. You can check every 4 hours. You can check every hour. Honestly, that's up to you. I utilize the alerts on TradingView. And you'll hear me talk about this a million times. So like I'll put an alert for my stop loss. I'll put an alert for my take profits, and I'll get a notification on my phone, take profit 1 hit. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, great. And then I'll make sure that my stop loss is brought down, or I'll make sure I'll take partial profits, or I'll go and check it and see what the candle's looking like to see, is it going to go and reach my second take profit? If I see that it's not doing that based off the candles, then I'll just take all my profits on my trades and I'll wait for another opportunity. Okay, now we have the pullback. Look, it's pulling back. Okay, so then it starts to come down. Well, guess what? You can move your stop loss now a little, oops, excuse me, I moved the wrong thing. You can move your stop loss now a little bit lower, right? Do I want to put it here? No, I don't want to put it here yet, because guess what? It could come back and retest this previous low to keep going down. So I don't want to get stopped out. The trade's going the way I want. So I'm just going to chill. I'm going to chill and I'm going to see what happens. If there's another pullback. So now this little bitty pullback makes me a little bit happier. The pullback's all the way down there. I can go ahead and bring this down a little bit more. And oh, look, so close to take profit hitting. So right here, I would have gotten stopped out. So if my take profit would have been down here, my take profit would have been missed, you guys. It would have been missed. And then I probably would have not gotten stopped out because it's spread, but that's a little bit more advanced. But look how it came all the way back up. And here's the deal. If it came back up, that's fine. Did I lose money?
No.
I lost no money, but I gained from here to here 87 pips. So I
have a question.
I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So let's say you did all of that right and it went in your favor. Where would you pull it up to where you can see your transaction history, so you can see all the trades and how they've been going for the day?
And you're at MetaTrader 4, it should be I think it's a history button. Hold on.
No, not on the MetaTrader 4, like when you're doing TradingView, or is TradingView just the demo? Like it won't tell you that.
I only use TradingView just to chart.
Okay.
I use it to chart because I just like the features that it has. Like you see how I'm replaying the market, I like how it does that. I like how it can take pictures easily. I can share my ideas quickly. I love the alerts. I use the alerts like crazy. If you're on my team, I swear by these. They're my favorite thing ever. So for me, it's just, I feel like it's user friendly. It's a little bit intimidating in the beginning, and it definitely was intimidating for me. But when I saw a lot of pros using it, I was like, I got to do this. And it's been the best decision that I've made.
What was that again? What was the best decision? I need to.
Oh, using TradingView.
Yeah, I use TradingView. Yeah. Okay.
So Miss Jess, you use TradingView to chart, and then you just use your MetaTrader 4 to put in the trade?
Correct. I'll just put in, so I do orders. So I'll do like buy limits, sell limits, things like that. So I'll put my orders in and that's it. I'm done. Okay. I'm done. And what's cool about TradingView is that your markups travel with you. You can download the app and they travel with you wherever you go. So you don't have to bring your laptop with you. You know what I mean? Like it's right there.
Yeah. So, I have another question too. I apologize. But so do you when you're on Trader's View or whatever, you use your laptop and to look at the chart and then trade from your phone? Or how do you do it?
Yeah. So I'll do all my my setups just like I did with you right here for this entry. I would do everything just like I did, right? Let's say this was my stop loss. You see that number right here? When I go to enter the trade in my MetaTrader 4 on my phone, I find the pair, I click trade. I would put either an order or I would execute it. Market execute means I would get in right away. Or I would put an order in. And in this case, I would be looking for a sell limit because price would have been below and it's coming back to retest. My entry price would have been this number. My stop loss would have been this. And my take profit would have been around here, whatever I have it at. And the numbers are right here on the side.
Right. So I've been on and off with this for a couple of years now. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how to, I remember I used to do the stop trade and stop sell and whatever. And I kind of forgot how to do it. But so I'll just go into a trade and not, how I'd be execute or do this or do that. And I wouldn't put a stop loss or a stop gain any way I thought the market would run. I would just put it in because I kind of forgot, and that's why I was asking, do you do it from your laptop? Look at the, how you go on Trader's View and you can look at the market and put in whichever market you want, US dollar, euro, whatever, but then go to your phone and trade, right?
Yeah, literally right now, I could, let's say this was a trade I was taking, I would literally just open my MT4. I would go ahead and look for the pair, click trade, put a sell limit in this case, put my entry price as 0.72253, my stop loss as this, and I could either leave my take profit open or put the level down here as my take profit, and that's it.
Right, because I started like I was doing demo and I was doing really great on my demo, and I think I got kind of cocky. But I've been doing this since I was like 35. And I just turned 40 today. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
But, thank you. And so happy birthday. I was getting kind of cocky, like, because I was making like $300-$400, you know what I mean? So when I went into my live account, you know, and then I knew how to do the stop loss and the stop gain or whatever, you know. So when I went into my live account or whatever, I gained a couple $100, like, ooh, I'm doing something or whatever. And then bam, I just got really, because I never had a stop loss, and I would fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? Because I was waking up during the London sessions and putting in because I thought I knew what I was doing. Like, I'm built for this, you know. I fall asleep and wake up like, ooh.
Yeah. No, so some people don't.
And I was just doing that as practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well, let me do live. If I'm making all this money on my demo, let me do live, you know. But I never had a start loss or a stop gain or nothing. And with my demo, I did, though.
Some people don't believe in stop loss. I believe in protecting capital. When you start making...
No, I really believe in it. I just forgot how to do it. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I forgot how to do it, or I would have been good if I remembered.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Stop
like,
loss to me is very important. Like, here's how I feel. It's like, and I'm just going to use Kobe as an example, and, you know,
right.
Rest in
peace. I think it's very, very important.
But it's like, you know, it's like Kobe. No matter how good he was, he still practiced. He still went to the gym hours earlier,
exactly.
Right? Practice. And he wanted to make sure that, you know, he was gonna his ratio or whatever his stats were gonna look good, and he was gonna make the shots. If he stopped doing that and he was just like, oh, I know I got this. I know I got this. I'm the MVP. I won this or whatever. He would probably lose some of his skill because he wasn't fine tuning it all the time, right? And I just believe that when we exercising using stop loss and entry and actually just having a plan with our trades, you'll have more organization. You'll feel better about the trade. Even if you lose, you'll feel better because you're like, you know what? I analyzed it. I felt good about the trade. It didn't go well. I'm gonna check out and see what went wrong, but that's okay. Instead of gambling, not saying that's what you did, you know, like, but instead of
that's basically what I was doing. Basically what I was doing, though. You're right. And I totally forgot how to do it. So I was like, well, I know how to, now I have this account, my MT4. I know how to put the money in there, and I know how to, and then like sometimes like I put like, okay, well, I have this much. Why is it not letting me go into this trade? Because I would try to go into the highest bid and trade to get more money. And everybody told me it's like it's psychologically, like you have to like kind of, you know, I was just being like, you know, like not knowledgeable. That's what I said. So
and we've all been there. Like we've all been there. And one thing I always tell my team is that if you're in a demo account, you need to treat that account like it's the money that you have. So like if you're only going to put $100 in your account and that's all you can afford, let's just say, you should not be trading standards, which is $10 a move on a demo account, because when you go live, you're going to wonder why you can't do that or why you're not seeing those same profits. And it's because your account can't handle that. So you kind of let yourself down. But if you set realistic numbers, I know with Hugo's Way, you can change your deposit amount. But like if you set a realistic number and you grow it, even if it's in demo, like please do not be ashamed of demo. Do not.
Yeah, I wasn't like, that's what I was trying to explain. I was doing so great at that. And then I didn't start recognizing the numbers. Like I put like 0.1, and they'll tell me like, you know, like you was just explaining, like MLMs, like that's 10% or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why? Well, I have it in my account. Why is it not letting me, you know, go towards that? That's why I was looking into you. Oh. And yeah, you're the bomb. I just want to let you know that too. Because when everything came out, like, that's when I was like, wow, she's something, because you did that free course. You know, people don't do stuff like that. And that's why I was like, she's a good person and she's really trying to help people. You know, and I appreciate that. You deserve a lot of love for that, man.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, y'all.
Yeah.
The goal
All right,
is
so
to help create some really good traders. So that's the goal.
and I'm a watcher, so I'll be looking. And yeah, I really appreciate that. And I was telling my girl, I was like, man, people don't do that. They always try to, you like I have a free course. This is even just to get y'all on your feet. Like if you don't want to take my classes, and too many people don't do that. So, and I really like looked at that, like that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to tell you that personally.
No, I appreciate that. Please, like I appreciate it. Thank you. For real.
I have a question.
Sure.
So on MetaTrader, how do you, when you were saying like put realistic amounts that you're trading with, how do you go on there and like edit the amount?
I'm gonna have 2 videos on YouTube tomorrow because I promised somebody. I forgot. Oh my, why is her name different on here than it is on Facebook? Please tell me your name because I won't forget it. Where is she? Hold on. I know it's under Jareen, right? Jareen.
Oh yeah, that's me, Jareen.
Okay, I'm like, I know it's a different name on it, so I don't know, like, but I promised her I would make a video about it because I thought it was a really good question. So one of my admins made one for YouTube. I am making one for iPhone. It will be up tomorrow on YouTube. It will also be in the free course. So you're going to get step-by-step instructions on how to change the lot sizes, how to put in your orders, how to take partial profits, everything. You're going to get all of it from the MetaTrader 4 on your phone.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Do you also do you have a YouTube video on FX trade as well? How to maneuver FX trade?
No, I don't even. You mean like a broker?
Oh, okay. So, I haven't finished your course, which, like the previous lady said,
FX
is
book?
amazing. But
FX book?
Is FX something we trade on?
Okay, so if you're talking about my course, it's FX book.
Okay.
FX book is definitely, as you start, I recommend everybody do it, to be honest with you, but you can link your account, like your demo. I think your demo, you can link your account to it and it'll keep track of all of your trades. Like you can't lie. That's why you don't see a lot of people on the internet showing those stats because it shows everything. It shows your losses, it shows your wins, it shows everything. Like it is, you can't hide nothing. But it's a great way for you to journal your trades and just see how you're doing, how you're progressing. Is there an area that you may need more help? Like it's really good tool. You don't need it right now, but definitely as you become, if your passion for this becomes bigger, I highly recommend. It's free, and you just link your broker account. It'll ask you for the credentials, and and you can see it.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about FX trade as well. Do you trade on that platform or no?
No, I only use my MT4 trading view. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I only use what I'm going over with here. So trading view, my MT4, and that's it. I don't use anything else.
So I'm sorry, Jess, is FX book, is that a broker?
No, so FX book, I'll show you. Oh, wait, hold on. I think it's FX book dot something. Hold on. My FX book. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, okay.
So you would sit here and you would log in, right? You log in, and I'm not going to go over my stats, my numbers. I'm going to have to use a different account. But you go in here, you create your login and everything. And once you create your login, you can see all the trades that you've gone into. You have a portfolio too, where it shows like all your stats. It's amazing. There's a community here. They have calculators on here that my team knows. There's so many good tools that this website has. I really like it a lot. But for journaling, if you're not using like a book or a notepad, which is just as good, you can use this, and it's really good. It's a really good tool. Yeah, like I love this tool. I don't.
And your recommended brokers are in the free course, right?
Yeah, so I use FX Choice and Hugo's Way. There are other brokers. FX Choice is regulated, so I like them a lot. They're a little bit more strict with how much you can risk, which is well, I'm not going to get too technical about it, but they're a little bit strict on what you can risk, but I like them. And then Hugo's Way, I've heard people have good and bad experiences with them. They've been great with me, especially for high withdrawals, like big withdrawals. They've been awesome. I get my money like literally within like quickly. So I don't have any issues with Hugo's Way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question, Jess. Now, do you ever fall into the situation where you're marking up on trading view, right? And like the numbers don't line up. Like I guess whichever broker you're using on trading view doesn't always line up with the numbers in MT4.
Yeah, because your broker is going to charge you spread. So in the course, you'll see, I'm pretty sure I have that in there, which is basically the fees that you pay them for them being able to let you use the leverage, okay? Because it takes a lot of money to trade. Most people need a $10,000 account minimum to trade. Your broker has basically fronted that money for you, and so that you can trade with those little lot sizes, like the 10-cent lots, dollar lots, those mini lots, and you have to pay them a fee for that. So on your MetaTrader 4, you're going to see a blue line and a red line. And for example, if I was looking to get into this trade right here, both lines would have to cross my entry. And then like when it goes down, I have to cover my broker's fees first. So whatever my broker is going to charge me, that's called spread. And sometimes you get charged for holding trades overnight too with some brokers. It just depends. You'll see it'll be like swap, or it has different terminology. I don't want to get too high tech. It's supposed to be a beginner trading, and I can see it's getting a little bit more advanced. But
my bad.
No, it's okay. You're in my advanced course. You got to come to the advanced webinars. But yeah, you guys, you have to pay your broker. You got to pay your broker, and the fees are not expensive until you start using higher lot sizes. You'll pay a little bit more in fees, but for what they're giving you, like to be able to trade with this little bit of money, $100 accounts, it's beautiful. So
yeah, so
for Tuesdays I'll be on the advanced sessions.
Okay, cool, perfect.
So yeah, so like I'm a beginner trader, and once I finish your course, I want to start trading, and I already set up, like I set up with FX Trade, and it's only like $100. Okay. So is that enough as a beginner, or should I put a little bit more?
No. You, as a beginner, you shouldn't even be putting more. And this is just my advice. I'm not telling you to do this, but you shouldn't even be putting more than $300 in your account. And number one, you should be in demo, and you should at least have at least 30 to 50 trades in demo. And you want to check your consistency. So if you have 13 trades and you only got 15 in profit and 15 negative, then that means you're trading at 50%. If you're satisfied with that number, then go ahead and go live. If you're not satisfied with that number, then you need to go like enter more trades and practice more until you see the consistency that you want. Once you like what you're doing, go ahead and load up your live account. And if you're doing $100, you just have to be smart. You have to use proper lot sizes and understand that it's going to take a little bit longer to grow that account. But as long as you have consistency, you can make money.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, y'all. I think I answered everybody, and this webinar is like 2 hours, so I'm gonna cut it off. But I hope you found value in this.
Yes, I did. This is going to be on YouTube as well, like for a replay, or?
Yeah, so it'll be in the free course, and I'll have it on YouTube as well. If anybody is interested, I don't like to really upsell or push. That's just not my thing. But if anybody is interested in becoming a VIP member, just message me or whoever referred you here. If it was like one of my VIP students, please just let them know. and we can go from there. But yes, this will be uploaded within 24 hours. It's 2 hours, so it's going to take a little bit long. So it should be uploaded by tomorrow, and then I'll have those other videos on MT4 up tomorrow as well.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Good
no
night.
problem. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good